Okay guys, this is the third video on the series of videos for reviewing the material for the upcoming test. This is going to be angles and measuring angles, protractor, using a protractor and measuring angles. We saw angles on the second video. We reviewed what acute, obtuse, and right angle were, and straight angle. And we saw we kind of review everything related to angles. Here it's going to be angles too, but it's going to be how to measure angles. And the thing that I want you to remember is that when you measure angles, what you're talking is about the distance between two rays inside of a circle. That's why I have that circle there and the protractor in the middle. You can use two protractors and measure the entire circle. Okay, so a protractor, what gives you is half a circle, the measurements for half a circle, and those measurements are in form of degrees. So you can start any way you want to measure angles in a protractor, but just for sake of doing it quickly, let's say that we have a line or not a line, a ray that goes from the center of the circle to this side. Okay, now I use that one because it's more convenient for me, because there is a zero here and I can start my measuring there. Now we also see a zero here. Remember that a protractor has two scales, one that goes from 0 to 180 on the outside of the protractor, and the other goes from 0 to 180 on the inside of the protractor. Why 180? Because a straight angle is 180. Okay, so you can use a protractor to measure any kind of angle in any given direction. But just for starting to, right now, let's say that we start at 0. If we draw another ray, and I'm going to draw another ray in green now, that goes from the same center, from the same vertex to here, oops, sorry, to here. Let me make it a little, okay, there. You can see that the distance between this line and this line is 50 degrees, not 130 like it says here, because that 130 is from way back here. That 130 is if I'm using the other side of the protractor. So I have to start counting. I have to start counting from 0 here and go 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. So that distance from this first ray A, to ray B is 50 degrees, because I can read 50 here. Remember that you can count from 10 to 10, like the big lines are 10, or just count the numbers, or you can look at this line here, that's 5. So you can go from 5 to 5. Or you can count each individual line, which is 1 degree. So from this individual line here to this individual line here, there are going to be 50 tiny lines. Okay? And that's the most basic way for you to measure an angle with a protractor. Now, you can start this way too. You can say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start, let me make a line from the same vertex. I'm gonna make a line here from 0, going through 0. Good. And then I'm gonna make another line from the same vertex going through here. Oops, here. Okay, so what would be the angle between those two rays? What would be this distance from here to here, or from here to here? Well, because you started here with this ray, let's call this ray H and this ray I, now you have to use the outside scale of the protractor, not the inside, because the inside starts at 180, which is the end of this one. This one goes from 0 to 180. Now you're starting on 0 here, and you're going to count 10 by 10s. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 degrees. So this angle is 70 degrees, okay, because you started on the other way. Okay, so this is the most basic way to use a protractor. You have to understand that you have two lines at the bottom of the protractor that both start in 0. One uses the outside of the protractor, the outside scale, this one, And the other one uses the inside scale of the protractor, going from the other way to this. Now, let's see one trickier example. For example, you are given a angle like this. It starts here. Oh wait, it starts here, but instead of starting on 0, goes through here. Oops, goes through here. Okay, and you have another line that starts in the same vertex and goes through here. Let's see that it goes through there. So the question is, how much is this angle from one ray to the other? How much is this angle? Well, in our minds, our brains are going to be tempted to say, oh, this is 60 degrees, or this is 120 degrees, or this is 130 degrees, or this is 50 degrees, because those are the numbers that we see on the lines. But that's not right. That's just the measurement on that particular line. To be able to say how big of a degree you have there, you have to count the lines between this point here and this point here. We have to count the lines. Now, luckily, because both lines are in a multiple of 10, 50, and here 120, you can count by 10. You can go, okay, from here to here, 10 degrees, 20 degrees, 30 degrees, 40 degrees, 50, 60, 70 degrees. So that angle measures 70 degrees because you counted the lines from one angle to the other. And you can say, but Mr. S, what if I'm given an angle like this? What if I'm given an angle where one ray starts here? No, let's say one ray starts here and the other ray goes here. Those are not multiples of 10. How can I count this easily? How can I count this easily if those are not multiples of 10s? My best advice is count the individual lines. Now, there's a trick. You know that from this line to this line, there are 5, right? Okay, so you can say, okay, there are 5, but I'm still missing this part here, but I'm going to count 5, 10, 15, 20. I know that from here to here, there are 20 degrees. Now, all I have to do is count 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. There are 26 degrees. But if you want to go, for sure, just count all the individual lines. Okay? Remember, do not tell me that an angle like this measures 50 or 130 or 60 or 120 because you just happen to see those numbers there. You're in 4th grade. I'm not going to give you a question that easy. Okay? And this is not the right way to measure an angle. Okay? You have to think, okay, wait. I think I'm being tricked here, because probably Mr. S wants me to use any of those numbers because he drew the rays there, but I know that that's not the right way. I know that I have to count all the lines on all the degrees there are from one ray to the other. Okay? Okay, so that's the second type of question that you are going to get on the test. The third type of question about measuring angles is when I'm going to give you 2 different angles, and I'm going to ask you the value of one angle in degree by giving you the other angle. For example, I can give you this. First thing that you need to do, that's my dog. The first thing that you need to do is be able to identify the angles that I'm giving you here. You can say, well, I can see an H here, an I, and a J. So if I do this, I can see a very big angle here. Boom. So you can say, Mr. S, there's an angle here, H, I, J. Remember, let's use the vertex always in the middle. Okay, you don't know how much it measures. I haven't given you that, but you know that that looks like an obtuse angle. And you can say, Mr. S, I also see an angle here, O. Oh, wait. I also see an angle here. Let me see if I can change the color. Why can't I change the color? Well, okay, I can see an O, I, J. O, I, J. And that would be this small angle here. And finally, you see one more angle. You see H, I, O. H, I, O. That's this angle here. Okay, so definitely I see three angles there. A big one that looks like an obtuse angle, a small one that looks like an acute angle, and another one, HIO, that if I put my piece of paper there, I think that's an acute angle because it would have to be like this, perfectly like this, to be a right angle. So what am I going to give you now? What information am I going to give you now? I'm going to say, hold on. I'm going to go ahead and say, oh, I can change this. Oh, now. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say that the big angle here, the one that looks like an obtuse angle, measures 125 degrees. So angle HIJ measures 125. Good. You know that all this here, it's 125. And I'm also going to tell you that the tiny acute angle that you see here, OIJ, it's going to measure 55. So this part here is 55. And now I ask you, what is the measurement of this angle? Okay? So you have to say, okay, to all of this, I'm going to take away this to be able to have this. So that means that at 125, I have to take away 55 to get the remaining angle. Okay? And what would be the measurement of this angle? 125 minus 55 is 70 degrees. Okay, this is the other question that you're going to get with this, and this type of problem is the one that we're going to practice the most on Tuesday when we meet back in class, okay, before our test, because this is the one that usually gives us the most trouble finding the answer, but once you practice it a lot of times, it becomes easier. Okay, so come back for the next video, and in the next video we're going to see in and out tables and lines of symmetry. Okay, that's the last topic. See you back.